It's time to begin the cope mode as Comicsgate has shrunk to a point where really it can't sustain anybody except for Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, and Shane Davis. When this all started back in 2017, when I used the hashtag, yes, it's my fault, I'm sorry about that, to defend your boy Zach of all people, which again, sorry about that, it's my fault. Because a bunch of pros were out colluding against him at New York Comic Con, and I got a screenshot sent to me by a pro who even remains nameless to this day. I keep my sources, and I'm very good with this. Unlike these Comicsgate guys that like post their DMs, Ethan Van Sciver does this. I've been very good about being a good journalist and just doing this entire time. That's why I'm the most trusted name in comics news. Back then, like, there was a consumer movement that was like, we're done with Marvel and DC. We're done with these people's antics. And it was really great for a long, long time. It was really about new comics and trying new things. Then it got usurped, of course, by Ethan Van Sciver and a couple of his cronies. And then he brought in all these like Marvel and DC pros to start this credentialism sort of thing, that you're not a real Comicsgate king unless you worked for Marvel and DC. And we saw how long that lasted, when that, what real Comicsgate king meant, as he's demeaning everybody else as not a Comicsgate king, right? It's setting up his little fiefdom that he's in charge, right? And it's a big narcissistic play right here. But it all just became whoever he said it was at the time, and it meant nothing for a long, long time. Now, these guys have had bad behavior over the last several years, and it's gotten worse. We've seen Graham Nolan now lash out at fans, of course, not defend Chuck Dixon against Ethan Van Sciver, attacking his longtime co-writer and partner and calling him a has-been because he's working with Eric July. Graham Nolan has really been one of the worst of the worst out of this whole group. He's sold his soul to these people. And I've tried to talk with him. I've tried to communicate with him, and he won't, because here's the deal. These people know what they're doing is wrong. They know that, when they go out there and they say, we're doing this as Christian conservatives and the like, and they act like this, they are in the wrong. And as you can see, he launched a book yesterday. Not so good. 139 backers, and he's going full cope mode, making excuses for it now. But the trajectory's been like this the entire time. It's been going down, 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 as people are not supporting this stuff anymore because there's not people who read comics around Comicsgate anymore. There's a group of Dick Masterson fans who are there for blood sports on live streams, watching Ethan Van Sciver attack people and attack other indie comics creators. Egging it on with super chats is what they do. And if you look at recent campaigns, there's just not really the backers there anymore. If you can't get a Cyberfrog book, which used to have 10,000 plus backers, beyond it like 1,000 backers, you're in big, big trouble. And of course, you can't support a bunch of other books coming out around you. Now, of course, Graham Nolan's launching this right after Cyberfrog, right after Shane. There's always new books coming out, at least new campaigns coming out. You shouldn't getting these actual books. Graham does deliver his books, to be fair, but from the other guys, not so much. You drop your $200 into the new Cyberfrog campaign, you're not getting anything for it. So are you really going to drop into something else? Probably not. But let's get into this like cope that they're going in and kind of explain how this felt and went down the drain in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. We're building a new movement around actual comics again, my friends. And Flying Sparks has been one of the books that's been just one of the best ones out there since this entire thing started. Now, people like Ethan Van Sciver have tried very, very hard to make sure people don't check out my works. He's got whole personal armies lying, slandering, saying horrible things about me for years, and it's been a terrible thing, of course, trying to be an independent comic creator in this space. But that's been the case the whole way around. That's what Marvel and DC do, right? I mean, this is what happened to your boy Zach exactly, is these people tried to lie and slander and of course, got your boy Zach so he was not going to be able to get into comic book stores because of that whole deal that kind of launched this whole thing. This is the behavior of people from Marvel and DC Comics. These guys have extreme egos. They're extremely entitled. They want to have that credentialism that Marvel and DC are all that's it, and people need to break away from that, and they are. I mean, if you look at like this, we covered yesterday how this Mandy Summers gal said that Comicsgate's 99% of indie comics, and I showed conclusively, like just from like a random webcomic I was clicking on, that like it was getting like 3.9 million views. If anything, Comicsgate is not even 1% of comics out there. And that's what we're doing here, is building on the webcomic model, making a healthier environment, creating a great group. And we have the best group in Discord, by the way. Really chill people who care about comics, who care about books. And that is the community that we want to build, because that's what we need to fight against the mainstream garbage that's going on. And they're producing the exact same garbage. They have not changed over there. We've been covering that as well on the channel here and beyond. So this is what I'm doing. I've got a comics Substack, and I'm posting pages every day, because the way to go forward is not like these grandiose crowdfund campaigns with like variant covers to get you on fear of missing out that you're going to like slab and put away in a box. I want you reading comics. That's the one thing these guys never got anybody doing. Nobody reads Ethan Van Sciver's comics, right? They just collect the, like, you know, oh, this is the blue Cyberfrog variant cover. It was only available for 48 hours. He appeals to the lowest common denominator of the retarded people who go to comic shops and buy those like 1 in 1,000. It's a new Fantastic Four #1, right? It's a #1. It's collectible, right? It's not. None of it is. It's all fake, and that's why the comic industry is failing in comic shops, because the readers tuned out, and the readers have tuned out of Comicsgate as well. So get on here, guys, because I'm posting a page a day. You get it for free, and you just get new content every single day. It's amazing. That way you're signed up right here. I've got exclusives if you want to support and become a patron. This is how it works, like in the main like webcomic world where like indie comics is thriving and people are reading, millions of people are reading. They, you know, patrons come in and they support, and then we give some exclusive content for that. I've got 2 exclusive comics. I'm talking about how to write comics in here as well. I have a commentary track on Flying Sparks issue 2 and issue 1, so you can actually go through and see the depth that I go to in the writing of these books, which is a lot. I think about these a lot harder than a lot of these other guys do, and that's why our books like always like grow, and that's why our audience keeps growing over the years. So read this. It's in the description below. If you want to buy some stuff if you like paperback books, I have a web store as well. It's also in the description below. Amazon also. We've got multiple ways of doing things. Very, very funny stuff. Watching these people like cope the other day going, JDA is not selling. And I'm like, here's my receipts where I've sold 4,500 books this year. What have these guys done? Not that. That's not what Graham Nolan's doing. 139 backers. So again, this is a dismal outing for Graham Nolan, who's been hyping this for the last couple weeks that he's going to be coming out with this. That's the reason he got hard on Ethan Van Sciver, going like, oh, Ethan Van Sciver's got his great book out there. Now look at this last one. Now, in December 6th, he had 1,200 backers. So his main campaign for 60 days, what this means is he launched it in October 2024. And then he got 300 backers since then. Not very much since December 6th, right? And so he's got 1,500 backers overall for what he's got going here. Now, you go back to what he was doing before, and how many backers did he have a couple years ago? Look at this. He had 2,776 backers when this all went in its kind of heyday here. About double. So he's already lost half of his backers from just being around this group that nobody buys comics or reads comics at all. Now, this one's going to go a lot worse, as you can see right here. After its first day, only 139 backers. Those are numbers like I do far better than that, as somebody who, like, again, is ostracized from these circles. And on top of that, doesn't have that whole Marvel and DC thing going for me. So that's not very good for him, as it looks like right out here. Now, he ran a live stream yesterday and was of course, swearing at me and the like, being nasty. This is how these people act. They cannot treat other people, even their Catholic conservative brothers, like human beings. And that's exactly why people are tuning out of this stuff, because it's like, if you don't actually stand for Christianity and conservatism, what are you standing for? What was the point of this movement? It was like, okay, Marvel's a leftist, atheist, awful people. We want to stand against that. You have to have values that actually counter that, and stories that actually matter to counter that. Otherwise, you're not doing anything. They're just lining Ethan Van Sciver's pockets for his live streams, right? That's why so many people, again, are just not buying these comics anymore. And so you see this here. Here's the cope. Thank you, everyone who backed my niche little book that could. Now, here's the cope already. Oh, it's just a niche idea. My next one's going to do much better, right? No, it's not. This is what's happening now. Graham Nolan, you are on the outs at this point. No matter how much you virtue signal, no matter how much you go out there and just say, like, Ethan Van Sciver's the best, you are on the outs because you're not part of that, like big group of Ethan, Shane, and John Malin. And there's just not enough backers to support this. And you're not building your own audience at this point. You've been leeching off of of this audience for multiple years and thrown all of your eggs into this basket, and now you're like having the consequences of that going down in real time. It's very, very sad right here. And of course, he posts this as a victory or whatnot, but that's not a lot of backers for 24 hours. This is not at all. These guys used to get way more. And if you don't know, like when you're new, you might have things trickle in over a campaign. But when you've done things before and you're going back and mining the same audience and you've got the same readership coming in, your biggest backing comes within the first 24 hours. Those people come in hard for you at the very beginning of the campaign. You get that little, he's going to do 30 days left. We know the little trick where these guys lie to their fans, right? It's not actually 30 days. They're going to hit that reset button and pretend there's this like closeout, right? They treat their audiences like they're so stupid. I don't know how people, even 139 people go in on this. Well, I know why. Like one of those backers, Katie did, and one of those backers, it's a lot of aspiring YouTubers in the space trying to get up there. But what's happened over this is a lot of the aspiring comic creators who like wanted to be, up there on the stage with them at some day or whatever, have all kind of tuned out because they realized that there was nothing there, that was not coming down, and people were not actually starting to read this stuff whatsoever. Now, what we've got on Ethan Van Sciver's is another dismal thing. He launched this book, and he's only got 1,000 backers on a big Cyberfrog book. Now, he really, really milked everybody. This is with shipping $215 to get all of these people on here, 267 people on this. So that's his like big baseline of his like big pay pigs at this juncture. About 300 people is on the pay pig level, and about 1,000 backers are in Comicsgate now. Now, we were estimating that it was bigger than this. That was going to be like 2,500 to 5,000 somewhere in there before, just because of the live stream numbers. I kind of think those live streams now have bots that are filling them up to make it look like there's more people than there are actually there. We've seen other streamers caught with this. There's a huge fake ecosystem on YouTube. I've noticed that a lot of live streams of the people who have not had that fakeness they jumped up for a little bit and then they jumped way back down. I was watching Smash JT for a little bit last night in the gaming space. He was clocking 1,000 people in his live streams last year. He was down to 300 last night. And so YouTube is like shutting people out and the like. And Comicsgate's remaining a little steady on that level, which shows me there's some fake stuff going on. We've caught these guys faking stuff before. Now, on fake, I think that Shane Davis's numbers are also a little bit fake. He's posted a $100,000 campaign because he did his fake closeout, which he had that big boost there. But again, look at that, 1,200 backers. It's about the same. There's about 1,000, 1,500 backers. There's a few that trickle in over things as well. But that's all that's left for Comicsgate. And these are the two main guys, like the big guys out there with their big campaigns now. People have lost interest in the comic books, and there's just no room. Graham Nolan's getting 1/10 of that, and that's what's going to happen from here on out. He's not going to be able to survive on this for very long. So if I were Graham Nolan at this juncture, what I would do is kind of move, I would say, look, I'm sorry. These guys did not do what this movement was set out to do. It was supposed to be a place for Christians and conservatives to go. They started canceling Christians and conservatives. I apologize to Chuck Dixon. I apologize to Mike Miller. I apologize to John Delarose for the way that I've treated my Christian brothers. And you know what? You might be able to build something from this point because it's over. I mean, it's going over as fast as I've ever seen before. And it's not going to last very much longer. I can't wait for the infighting to begin between these people because the money's not there, because that's what happens next. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Again, we're building a movement that's comics first and reading first. Not look at this. You can read for free. I'm not putting some package of variant covers together to really squeeze people out here or anything like that. This is you reading comic books, and that's what we want out of a comic book movement. And this movement here is pro-Christian, pro-conservative. We're making a difference in comics, and I hope you'll join us. Great group on Discord. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for reading, and we'll be back soon.